Probably got to turn that off in the background.
Oh, yep.
Once again, we're back. We're back. My bag, everyone. You know what I'm saying? We just suffered a little technical difficulty, but now we're back. Now we're back on. Now I'll give you my take on how I view like this draft class as overall. Then we'll go through it by player by player, pick by pick. Uh, I think I like the Gregory Russo pick, even though I kind of give you a backstory on it. When we was up to pick Gregory Russo, I stayed up the whole time, watched the whole draft. I was enjoying myself with my peoples. I was out of time at that time, but when we were about to pick, I fell asleep. I didn't know who I was left on the board. I woke up. I was really big on Gregory Russo, and I seen us pick him. I was like, okay, cool. I never knew about JOK was still on the board. I never knew anything about Boogie Basham was still there.
That's because you
So
was
I mean,
sipping
I
on that
probably would have been
sip.
just a little bit salty. Yeah, that Brown do it to you now. That Brown does his thing. But I like the draft class as a whole, and I really dig the Marquez Stevenson pick because we really honestly needed somebody as far as like to compete with Isaiah McKenzie. And you know what I'm saying? Somebody could be a returner, they can do the jet sweeps and all the good stuff. And we got that. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's jump into it pick by pick. What we think about this one. Now, I might. I'll let you take it first. As I try to get back up on the share train so we can get the broadcast out there. All
Okay.
right. What was your thoughts about Gregory Russo when we got
Um, I was happy because anytime you draft in something, you want to draft the things that you can't make and you can't get. You can't manufacture a 6'6", 265-pound defensive end. They don't come around that often. And so anything that's gonna be a high
right,
high
right,
boom potential is gonna have a little bit of bust to it. That is the nature of the game when you playing a card like this. This is a big card. This is a but what I like about Russo is even when he's failing, he still can make a play. Think about this. A lot of his sacks
right.
and tackles came as he was being pushed down backwards. And he was so long that quarterback escaping out of the pocket that was running from like Jalen Phillips or whatever would run where he was falling,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that man was grabbing feet. He never gave up. He's that length still had him dragging people down. Like so, what's the worst that can happen to a defensive end? He gets knocked on his butt. Well, he's still taking up a lot of ground at 6'6" on his butt until he learns, what he needs to be the ferocious end that he's gonna be, especially working with Bruce.
Yeah, and I forgot all about he was supposed to be Big Bruce's partner. They're supposed to be
Yeah.
best friends over this off season. But what I saw out of Gregory Russo when I cut on the film is like pretty much what you're saying. I mean, but I saw a cat that has a great motor, doesn't stop, very long, lanky, rangy. If he doesn't get to the quarterback, it's somebody that probably can get a lot of knockdowns or whatnot. And he can actually probably play a little three technique. And just think about it. I mean, if we got all these guys, with Boogie Basham coming in, we'll get on him next. You got AJ Epinesa, you got Mario Addison, you got Jerry Hughes, and even let's throw in the FAO Bottom. I think he's gonna make the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should be able to get to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I really like that pick. I really wanted Gregory Russo, but then if I would have been, in my right mind, if I would have been able to stay woke, now I knew we had Boogie Basham, I would rather like Boogie first. Now, let's move over to my guy Boogie Basham. I'll take this one first, and I'll let you do your thing with it next. All right, well, Boogie Basham. When I see it on tape, man, somebody has mean streak. He's quick out the snap. He's quick. He's in the backfield before you know it. And to me, I think he's a guy that honestly that can be better than Gregory Russo. I think
Mm-hmm.
Gregory Russo might be kind of like to me. I don't know. He may be a healthy scratch on some game days because I think Boogie Basham, Carlos Basham, is ready like instantly right now.
Now, yeah.
And then like I've always said, like I've always said, we need somebody with a mean streak. And I've been on the Russo and Boogie Basham train for a while because I thought that they were gonna fall to us, but they did. I never even think that I thought that Boogie Basham would probably be going like the first 10 picks of the next round. Mm-hmm. Now we get 2 linemen. That lets you know that what we prioritize, we get to get after the quarterback. So what were your thoughts when we grabbed Boogie Basham?
Now, Boogie was somebody that I was high on early, and then I started listening to all the experts, and they took me away from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
the experts I always mess you up.
But when I was breaking down this stuff for my own self and my own knowledge, I was like, this guy exudes what Buffalo needs: inside, outside presence. You can't stop him on the inside if he, stunts in. And McDermott, he needs these guys that can do multiple things, right? So Boogie ain't the flash off the edge, but if you're not a flash off the edge, McDermott wants quarterbacks throwing from a tuna can. You know what I'm saying? So then he could just use his power to collapse pockets. You know what I'm saying? So McDermott really don't care about the damn sack. He doesn't. What he cares about is affecting the quarterback. And like last show we were talking about how it's hard to get sacks these days unless you got a Shaquille Barrett or maybe even a Gregory Rousseau, what he'll turn into. It's hard to get sacks these days. These quarterbacks are delivering that ball in 2 seconds. So who do you have to mess up? You have to F up the offensive line. Can you imagine a more confused offensive line than when we bring in this lineup that we got? Who you going to guard? Epinesa? Nope. He's going to be improved. I'm telling people, like, Epinesa coming out this year, man. He ain't no little guy. He played like a little guy at the end of the year last year, which was surprising to me. But it also let me know he'll do whatever is asked, But you got to remember, he's a 6'6", 285-pound defensive end, too. And for him to play as fast as he was playing, with another year in that weight room, he's going to get back to his regular size, and he's going to be a pocket collapser as well. So now you lining up defensive end, defensive tackles. You don't know what's what on third down. Boogie starts on the outside, works inside. He next to Ed Oliver. You know they're not guarding Ed Oliver if they got to double team somebody else.
Yeah, and we got a lot of tweeners. I mean, with Boogie, with AJ Epinesa, you got Gregory Rousseau, you got those guys. They can kind of play in that 3 technique all over the line. As long as we got a space eater, I don't know if Harrison Phillips can be a space eater, but I know we're gonna get Star back. I'll feel more comfortable with us getting somebody that can eat up 2 blocks and let these other guys work one-on-one. So I'm with you on that. I just hope that if we're gonna do a rotational thing, give those guys more opportunities, put them in those 3 techniques.
I believe they will ask Harrison Phillips to beef up. So remember what I said, don't make a weakness. You don't spend a lot of time trying to make a weakness into a strength. You develop strength on strength. Harrison was like the 3rd highest bench press at the combine, right? And so he was a tweener. Nah, just go ahead and beef up. Right. And push the pocket. You come in behind Star every now and then, and push that pocket. Let them other guys do the penetration. Because the one thing I notice about Horrible Harry, when he goes in there, whoever he's up against, if it's 1-on-1, they all the way back next to the quarterback by the time he done. But that can be dangerous if it's a running play, because that running back just goes shoot the gap that he created, So I saw a little bit of that. But if they ask him to just use your strength and hold, I believe Horrible Harry can do that. And if he wants to make this team, he's going to have to do it, I believe.
All right, now let's move over to your guy. We were talking about a pre-show.
Ooh,
Spencer Brown.
Woo.
What are your thoughts on Spencer Brown pick?
Yo, they stole this man. They stole him because they had to steal him. Baltimore was coming up, and I could feel it. Baltimore was going to get this man, so they had to go on and do it. Can you imagine letting Baltimore get this guy with the way they play and that the needs that Baltimore had? So you win by taking him away from a rival who we had to play in the playoffs, right? You keep him from them, and then you get a net gain because this man benches 500 pounds. This man is 6'8", and he scores the highest athletic score of all linemen in the history of the world. That sounds crazy, right? In the history of the world, we have the most athletic lineman ever, man. So it's fitting that his name is Brown, because I believe he gonna be all up and down this line. And I'm not normally. It don't sound right to say 6'8", play guard, but if anybody can do it, wouldn't it be the most athletic
6'8"
guard ever?
normally screams tackle.
Yeah.
But it helps when you have a 6'4", 6'5" quarterback, though.
Right. Yeah.
All right, my thoughts on Spencer Brown. With Spencer Brown, I think even moving when we get into Tommy Doyle, I think these two guys are most likely gone. They're gonna help add depth. I mean, we brought back Ike Barker, but we lost Ty Secchi, and even like during last season, Quentin Spain, guys like that. I think these guys may be they might be versatile pieces that we're gonna at least during training camp. Let's just see what they look like at guard. Mm-hmm. Hey, let's even see what they look like at center, just in case if we have to move some guys around. Because the thing you don't want to do is get into the season. You got guys that only could play one position. In the backups that's on any NFL team, they don't need to play just one position. If you're gonna have a guy that's gonna play one position, you need at least about 2 or 3 other guys to play guard or center or vice versa, tackle or whatever. So I'm thinking, Bean has done his homework. See, these guys can be versatile or flexible enough to probably can play multiple positions. So I'm thinking this guy, Spencer Brown, and let's move over to Tommy Doyle, since while we on the subject of the linemen. I think with these guys, even Doyle, I mean, like I said, that's another 6'8" offensive tackle, 326, ran the 5.5 and 40. That's pretty swift for a big guy. Mm-hmm. Like you said, these are guys that can probably pretty much play guard. If you're a guard, you can't have slow feet. Slow feet don't eat if you're a guard in the NFL. So you got to be able to get up, pull, do all those different things. Maybe we might be able to see our offensive line come back to life a little bit. Now, but before we get to this next pick, I've been asking this whole time since we know during the off season, Mike. So, all right, I had a checklist. So you had, our running game was blah because of whatever reason. So I asked, was it like the running backs? Was it the line? Checked it off. Wasn't the line. We got all the continuity as far as the line is back. Was it the running backs? Checked it off. We didn't pick up a running back in the draft. Now I'm pulling my finger over there to Brian Dable. So it got to be him. To me, in my mind, what are you thinking that I'm asking you? So what do you think Dable was misusing or just being too heavy-handed with Josh?
I was thinking Dable had to do what he had to do. Now that I done got to look at some of those PFF scores and how poorly most of our position groups played, like people don't realize Josh had a 90 overall position score. The running backs had a 70, which was good for our team. The center position was a 50. The tackles were a 70. That's why I was a little surprised, because they were 78, 79. I was a little surprised when we went tackle, but I can understand it. In the guards, they were in the 60s, right? So I'm like, Dable was masking the same thing Josh had to mask on the field. We couldn't run because they wasn't going to open up no holes. It wasn't going to happen. So you ask yourself, well, why did those guards get down to a 60? And I believe continuity and injuries was part of it. So that's why I'm saying we could be okay if we run it back and they're healthy But now, if they're not healthy, they're out of there. And now we have people who can play behind them that can play and might play better than them. So they better not. What's the name of that? Wally Pip or something like that, where the person lost their job to the guy and never got it back. Or even
Right.
in our time,
Yeah.
it was Drew Bledsoe. You don't want to lose your spot.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
one of
yeah,
these
yeah.
guys.
So we saw what happened with that. The NFL stands for not for long.
Right. Now that pick.
So, and we'll take a pause for the calls for a second. We'll take a pause for the calls. If you check me out on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that share. Make sure you tell a friend, the hashtag AATB is in. If you're checking me out, me and my guy Iron Mike over on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all things all about the bill. Now, I think to answer my question that I asked you, I posed to you, I think that it's on Dable because just think about it, we never really used the screen game like we should have.
That's
We
a
never
fact.
in the year before when Motor was a rookie, we had the guards pulling. We even had Mitch Morris out there pulling. So
Yeah.
we never really utilized that. I think to me that Dable was more or less in tune with, okay, Josh is cooking. We're just gonna let him keep cooking. You know, we're gonna if he throwing the ball, making the right decision, hitting the right receivers, hey, when push comes to shove, look for Stephon. If nobody else is open, but we got Gabe Davis, we got Cole Beasley, John Brown when he was available during the season. I hate losing my boy, but you know, it's a business. So we had to lose Smoke. But hopefully we gained the same thing with Emmanuel Sanders. And we'll get into that talk a little bit later on. Now, let's get into this next draft pick. All right, what do you think about Marquez Speedy Stevenson? I just learned his nickname today.
We lost Smoke, but we gained Fire. That's what I think. Fire on special teams, fire on streaks. This man, I don't care what his time was. You ain't gonna catch him on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? So like, when it comes to just speed, he got it for days. And he's not the typical speed receiver in that they can, you know, when we drafted the one kid from TCU, I forget his name back then, but he never really saw the field for us. He ended up playing for the Chiefs, and he didn't see the field for them either because he had a hernia problem. But, you know, sometimes they don't track the ball well and stuff like that. That's not this guy. This guy can play wide receiver. The problem with his problem that I saw is he doesn't have an expanded route tree, but we have great teachers on our staff. So while he's doing special teams and all that, he can learn from two of the greatest route runners to do it, Emmanuel Sanders and Stephon Diggs, and even Cole Beasley. So when it's time, this guy's going to hit the field.
You got
excited because you're like, dang, with that kind of speed and learning behind those guys, yo, this guy could be a monster. And the fact that you came up with Tre'Davious White, and we know what Tre'Davious is, and we know Speedy said he came up looking up to Tre'Davious and trying to emulate him. So that means he emulated hard work, because Tre'Davious isn't the most gifted athlete, but he works hard and he's a technician in his field.
He's just technically sound.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you with that kind of athletic gifts, if you work hard, you know what they say, when talent works hard, whoo, we got one. That's what I believe. We got one.
Yeah. Oh, well, I looked at the tape as far as what I seen was Speedy Stevenson. He's fast, but he has that straight line speed. He can't juke you. He's not gonna juke you out of the phone booth, but he's shifty. Yeah. He can kind of shift himself like one way or other to kind of get once he has the ball. Yeah, right. Straight line speed, which is nothing wrong with it.
Jalen Darden.
Yeah, right. But I think he has immediate kick return abilities and he's gonna be competition for my partner Isaiah McKenzie, who I was such a big fan of us bringing
You
back.
want Isaiah on this team so bad. Isaiah gonna
I'm
show
not
you
hard on
something.
Isaiah. I had to just kind of stand back and just look at the whole of what he did. Like, you know what? He really was valuable to the offense. But, you know, with that position, I want to make sure we lock somebody down that can at least create competition.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody who can do it for a while. And then, you know, I guess I'm a victim of how I used to think of Isaiah when he first became a part of this team. Okay, you're the gadget guy, the jet sweep guy. You know what I'm saying? That might score a touchdown here and there once every 3 or 4 games. But then I kind of looked at his whole thing of work. If that's the right proper term or whatnot. I looked at what he did this whole season. I'm like, okay, that's 8 touchdowns. You can't replace that. You know what I'm saying? And the way this offense was cooking, now he's probably found his niche. Now, as long as we got somebody that can kind of keep competition to where he doesn't get relaxed, maybe like return kicks, I'm cool with that. And I'm all for, like, say, if Isaiah decides to walk, now we got Marquez Stevenson. But if not, if we sign him, I think he already said re-sign for like a hometown discount. So it's really too much. I think he'll come back, but who knows? It's just all up to the player and in the GM at that point. So
I honestly don't think McKenzie's job is in danger, even if Marquez does what he does, because John Brown was doing what he was doing. That didn't hurt McKenzie. McKenzie is a different thing. I think he's just shiftier than some of these straight line guys. So he has his value. Who I believe is in trouble is some of the receivers like Hodgins and Duke Williams, even for practice squad. They might not be there. And I know the guy they signed from Atlanta, he getting cut because these guys on their worst day ain't running.
So you think they might get rid of Isaiah?
No.
You think they might get rid of Isaiah Hodgins?
They're gonna give him a shot.
I think they gotta see at least what Isaiah got.
Yeah, he gonna get his shot.
Right.
When you see him playing a lot in preseason, that means he getting his shot. He better perform. So he's gonna get the time, because they don't give up. Bean don't like to give up on them draft picks. Every GM wants their picks to be successful. So they're gonna get the benefit of the doubt. So Hodgins, you was injured last year. Now you got to show that you're worthy, and you will have every opportunity to show that you're worthy, unless Dayball do what Dayball do, which is just sometimes he just leave people out the game plan, man. I'll be questioning that sometimes.
I think there'd be a lot. I think there'll be a lot on like McDermott the day of. It sometimes baffles me like why they would like have a healthy scratch on certain players. But I think I'm with you on that. I think Isaiah Hodgins, I would say his position like is in trouble, but is on notice. You know what I'm saying? We bring in Speedy Stevenson. We bring this young cat in. Hey, you know, you might want to kind of you was injured. You know, you might want to be ready this next offseason. Because if you get injured again, you know, Cody Ford. That was the Tommy Doyle. That was Spencer Brown brought in for. Just in case. If y'all ain't ready to go, if y'all ain't on championship caliber, not that I'm saying they won't be ready there, but these guys are professionals. I believe they will try their best. But competition, creates diamonds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron. So nobody gets comfortable.
What's weird to
me
is
Mike.
I'm going to put some money on this right here. I'm going to go ahead and say Cody Ford is going to be our best offensive lineman this year. If they put him at guard. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Natural position.
Natural. I think he going to be road grading. I think the hole's going to be huge behind Cody.
And but I can see the method to your madness, though, because when he was in Oklahoma, he was like a better run blocker. So that right side is really for your power. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But not saying they won't run to the left, but I think that it might be something to what you're saying, because he's a big guy. He can move a body. It's just hopefully he gets it together.
Yep.
All right, let's take a pause for the calls. Let's take a pause for the calls. If you're checking me and my guy Iron Mike out on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that share button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The hashtag AATB is in. Let's make this thing trend. If you're checking us out over on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Hit that notification bell and hit that subscribe button. Just make sure you stay up to date on everything all about the Bills. All right, now this next player, Damar Hamlin. All right, Mike, I'm gonna let you take it first. Then I'll come behind you.
We stole one. We stole a guy. This is a ball player, ladies and gentlemen.
I think so too.
Yes. Instinctive. Smart. Plays faster than that 4.6 time. Tackles well. And is a leader. You got to think. His running mate in college was Paris Ford, who I wanted on this team. But Paris Ford was a little amped up all the time. So the other guy had to be the reserve leader. So you know he can.
Right.
He can sit back and learn what he got to do and be ready to be a professional. He just exudes being a professional to me. Hell yeah, A. Rich. He just faster than everybody else. But yeah, durability, because in this league, that he gonna have to bulk up just a little. But he got them hard wiry muscles. Look at him though. That's them tough stringy muscles, boy. I don't know. I think he'll be fine. I really am worried about Stevenson though. I mean not Stevenson, the dude Devontae Smith with the Eagles. I could see that going south fast. Draper J, we lose you, big bot. All right, y'all. Look like we lost Draper. This is his show all about the Bills. You know, we just discussing Buffalo. He had us talking about the Bills draft picks, which I'm on board with Bean's thinking. To me, Bean hit it out the park. Everybody else had us at a B or a C. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and give us an A, except for the fact that I feel like even at the end of the draft, like there was Marvin Wilson out there. When we needed a big one tech, I believe. That's the one thing that I feel we did not get. That's been plaguing us for years, even more than corner, because when you look at some of our toughest games, our corners held up. It was the fact that when you have to choose one or the other, we couldn't even stop the run. Think about Kansas City when we played them a couple years ago. We couldn't stop the run. We got gashed. We went in there playing the pass, but we didn't have the line to stop the run. And now that we got Star back, we got the outside ends to help us with. So we got ends big enough to play the run now that can even slide down if we have to help them. And on third down, those big defensive ends are going to help Ed Oliver and company really turn into a Ferrari package to get after the cornerback. This is Monday Night Mafia, everybody. It's me and Draper J as usual, but we waiting on Draper J to come back. Oh, there you go.
Finally back, man. Finally back, man. Hey, just keep doing your thing. Let me see if I can change out the camera. Just keep running on.
So I'm gonna jump back to that Tommy Doyle pick because I know across Bills land that's the one pick that everybody is questioning, just because of the talent level that was still on the board at the time. Like, we skipped over a lot of good. We could have had. There was higher rated cornerbacks that we could have picked up. But to that note, the corners that we did get, Wild Goose, this guy's a fighter, man. This guy's a scrapper. This guy's I think he's going to end up playing behind Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson. But if he has to step in, I see him succeeding. I can see it. When you're scrappy like that, you have the technique. Plus, if you look at our times, he's our fastest corner. He's 4.41. What did we say we needed? We needed speed at corner, right? These other guys ran 4.39, but we don't know how the were they being influenced? Was their watches being influenced because they went to bigger schools? And some of these schools, they get paid by saying my guy went in the first round. So knowing that, you think that they had speedier watches saying, oh, when it was a 4.41, say, oh, 4.39, because it sounds better. Well, our guy ran a 4.41, and he's sticky, icky. Maybe he's a little bit too aggressive, but we play zone. Keep in mind, we play zone. So if he's an aggressive mentality, guess what? He's gonna get to unleash when he comes up to the point of attack, when he has to make a tackle after he allows the catch, right? Because he's gonna have to allow the catch, let him catch it, and then bang on him. And that's what we're gonna be about. We got the corners to do that now. We got the corners to do that. Levi makes his team year in and year out because he is about that life. Levi will make that tackle. It's one of the highest tackling on our team. Am I right, Draper? You muted, bro.
Now,
Yeah.
I apologize. We're trying to make it through a decent show. We're trying to bring you the best content as possible. But hey, things happen. I do apologize in advance. But now let me jump back into Damar Hamlin. I seen what I like. I like what I saw. He can play, even though he plays free safety. He can play man. Maybe he can possibly play a little slot. Not afraid of contact. Great at play recognition, and he doesn't. He's a good sure tackler, and he can come up and he was supporting the run just a little bit. And then what was one of our main things last couple seasons when it comes to like the run game, we're not able to like stop the run. They run right, gashes right up the gut. And I think possibly the way he plays, he probably could day one play like some special teams. I think if he has special teams capabilities, then that makes him valuable to keep on this team, the room just in case something happen to Porter, something happen to Hyde, somebody could jump right in and play and possibly like take over for those guys. I mean, let's be for real. That inching on them as far as like age wise, they're not young cats anymore. So we gotta start looking forward to that. I think really the whole like even up to this pick right here, our draft that Dable has like put together a draft in the last few years. The guys, okay, they may not pop this year. They have a ton of potential. You gotta be patient. Just think about it. 2019, we made the playoff. Then we added like Adrian Epinesa and their cast characters as far as like free agency and all that good stuff there. You just gotta be patient with these guys. Even like I think, like I said earlier, that Greg Russo might end up being a healthy scratch. I think because the guys that we have on the defensive line, we'll get into that in just a second, that they all, it's so many of them that a guy like that, or Gregory Russo, can sit back and it could be like a redshirt year. I think a guy like Boogie Basham is so good, like right now, that he's actually decent enough to actually play. Now, if they're gonna keep this rotation deal up, let's make sure we put these guys all over the field and make sure we keep us one technique, somebody who could possibly take on two blockers at once. What are your take? What is your take on that, Mike?
I don't see a problem with it. I see the if you look at the way McDermott has coached, talent alone don't get you on this field. If there's a lot, you have to be talented. You have to be skillful, and you have to be able to do your 111. And there's things that I believe Russo has some holes to his game where he wouldn't be able to do everything asked play in and play out. but there's already people who can. And so until they can get him ready, they will sit him. They'll sit him and let him learn and be hungry in the background. They got a lion or a tiger in a cage waiting to come out. And as long because they did that, they've done that
Right.
with everybody. It wouldn't be nothing new. Ed Oliver, you don't think they wanted him in from the get go, but Ed Oliver showed that there was things he had to work on, play in and play out, where he had to maybe get a little more discipline or maybe improve his work ethic here and there. And they sat his little butt out until he showed those things. And
Yeah.
if he regress,
So he
if
was
he
ready.
regresses, they'll sit him out again. But I don't think there's gonna be no more regression from Ed. Ed is full go now. And he's gonna be in that right spot. It's
Right.
them quarterbacks gonna see pressure right up the middle, and Jerry gonna love it. Jerry Hughes the air pressure king. He might get his hands on a couple this year.
You say he might at least get about 3 or 4 this year.
I feel like
Ain't nothing wrong there for old school.
I
That's
feel
cool.
like old school gonna get 7 this year.
You know, if he gets 7, that'll be a blessing.
Hell yeah, because everybody else about getting 6 and 5. You know, FA gonna
But
surprise
let's
us
move
too.
on to this next one. I think so too. We'll kind of touch on them just in a second. Once we like round out the whole draft. Now I got a thought process as far as like with FA and the rest of the guys. All right, now I heard you bring up Levi Wallace. I think this guy right here, Rashard, am I saying his name right? Wild Goose poses the biggest threat to Levi Wallace. Cornerback 6'11", 5'11", 197, runs a 4.41 in the 40. Now, what I seen out of him, he plays big, he's long and very rangy, he's always in position. You know what I'm saying? And he isn't afraid to come up and bring the wood. He's a hard hitter. That's one thing we missed out of that quarterback, that other cornerback position. Somebody who's gonna bring the hat. You got somebody who can cover half of the field, and the other half you don't even want to run over there. If Wild Goose is that dude, I think he can come up and possibly challenge Levi Wallace. And I will say this: with those 2 picks, Damar Hamlin and Rashard Wild Goose, that puts guys like Tyron Johnson. Let me get my name right. Saran Neal. I got them wrote down. Levi Wallace. Put those guys on notice. And then you got Jaquan Johnson. You got Cam Lewis. You got those guys. They need to be paying attention, because if they have any type of special teams qualities, y'all might be out the door. I mean, because y'all have been here for a minute. Jaquan Johnson, what is he at the end of his contract?
Yep, his rookie deal's almost up because he only had a 4-year because of his the lateness of the draft pick.
See what I'm saying? So you gotta be aware now. If Levi beats out any one of these guys, I think they may throw Damar in the little CB2 in training camp just to see what he look like. Even in preseason, they may throw him out there, see what he has going on. But so, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What have you seen out of Rashard Wild Goose?
Yeah, like I was saying, he's a scrapper, and I think that's what they went after: cornerbacks who can tackle. Because it ain't about cornerbacks who got the best footwork and being in phase and stuff like that. We don't play that kind of ball. We play a zone. You know, we play
right.
Well, we play man zone too, but it's more about recognition and then being able to come up and make the tackle after you've allowed a catch of mediocre yards. I'll put it there because
right.
I feel like the corners that we got, even the one we got as an undrafted free agent, Warren G's son, he's a scrapper too. He'll come up and make the tackle.
Yeah.
If he was a little bit bigger, he'll challenge all of them. But I think his size hurt him just a little bit. He seemed a real slim. But his mentality was just like that of Tyron Johnson, the Mighty Mouse guys, man.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, but we got the top of the line facilities. He just go in there, talk to
Hmm.
the nutritionist, hit the weight room. He might be
I
all right about
want
a year or two.
I want to get in there. I need a whole transformation, man. I need to get in there. It's been a long time since I was Iron Mike.
Hey, hey, it's been a long time for a lot of us around creeping close to them 40s, if not in the
Yo,
40s, who we used to
yo.
be, who we used to be. Yeah, but let me take a quick pause for the cause. If you're checking me and my guy Iron Mike out on Facebook, hey, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. The hashtag AATB is in. Let's make this thing trend, man. Hey, if you're checking us out over on Facebook, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop kick that notification bell to make sure you stay up to date on everything all about the Bills. Now, I'm gonna let you take the last hog, Molly, because I know you're a film guy. And tell me what was your take on this guy right here,
Who,
Jake
Richie?
Anderson, Jack Anderson.
Who?
I'm tripping,
Who,
Jake,
Richie?
Jack,
Lil, I'm gonna call him Lil Richie.
the
That
new
little,
Richie.
yeah, that's Lil Richie incognito, boy. So when you look that
Now
much
that you
like
say that, I see it.
when you look that much like somebody, you know you come up emulating them. And so if he can emulate everything but the racism, I'm good. And I'm not even gonna knock Richie for that because
Right. Just get
now that I look at the one dude who they used to
it's
pick
just
on,
it.
I could see why that dude got picked on sometimes. He seemed like a square in a room full of circles. He ain't belong, man. And so
Yeah. The South guy.
yeah. So Richie probably noticed that shit and jumped on that man
Yeah.
because he didn't want to go to war with that dude on Sundays. So yeah, that
But
uh,
yeah. Go
he
ahead, do your
just
thing.
he just all I can say because I don't really know much about that guy. I never like being through me for such a loop. I don't know nothing about who that dude is, but he looks like a guard. That's all I'll say. He looks like somebody that wants to try hard and move a man out the way. That's all I care about. I don't care about the names, man. What is his name? Who cares? Is when he puts on that 56 on Sundays, is he going to go out there and move a mother out the way? I believe he'll be, even when
He's a
he
big
is,
boy now.
yeah. So even if they're not suiting him up, even if he's on practice squad, he is going to be a lion in the cage waiting to get his chance like Rudy. I know it. And so I just feel like if he don't give him a shot, don't give him a shot to get on that field starters, because y'all not going to get y'all spot back.
I think with Jack Anderson, I think that was like being more like, you know what? Let me go and flex my muscle. Let's make sure we keep another body in here to can protect Josh. Okay, Jack Anderson. And then, I listened to his pressers. He said if there's a guy at a position that we feel like either we have graded high in whatever round, we'll go at him. Whatever he's at on our board. As long as he's either above that round or maybe right there in that round that would draft. So I think they probably did their homework on him, and then they were like, you know what? Let's just grab us another line. You never gonna go wrong grabbing another line. So you got 3 offensive linemen out of this draft, plus who you already signed with.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna be decent enough to be on the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
Somebody out of those 3, somebody's gonna be decent enough to be on that 53-man roster. So I'm thinking that's what the Jack Anderson pick was. They was just thinking like, you know what? Let me go grab another line because we got enough receivers. The running backs I trust. I don't know about my offensive coordinator, but hey, I don't know about that guy. But I trust the running backs we have in here. Brought in Breeder. Didn't want to trade up for ETN and none of those guys. Didn't want to trade up for Quiddy Pay. I'm trusting the board. Who we got? So let's just grab just another offensive line. We got enough defensive line. We can get in there just a second. And I think we got at least about 8 guys that probably, I think, are not, everybody's not going to be able to suit up. But now, Iron Mike, as I asked before in the pre-production. Go ahead. You got something, Mitch?
One thing I say is Spencer Brown is on the 53 by default. You can't hide him on You can't hide him on the practice squad. Won't happen. He's 6'8". He bench 500.
Right.
You can't put him on the practice squad.
Right,
He's gone.
right. Yeah. All right, now I'm gonna pose this question to you. This is a curveball I'm gonna throw you. So, out of this whole draft class, who do you think will make the Gabe Davis type of splash this next season? Out of any one of these guys, who do you think will be like, you know what? He's a baller and he's a rookie and he out there doing this, doing that. Who do you think that guy might be?
Boogie Basham. It's simple to me, Boogie, because the things he does, the things he can do now,
right?
He can do now, and he can do 10 years from now, and you can't stop it. He plays with his hands. You can't stop it. He discards his tacklers. I mean, the blockers. You can't stop it. The difference between him and Ed.
Very explosive out the snap.
The difference between him and Ed came into the league carrying his tacklers, the people who were trying to guard him. He loved it. Ed would say, "Get on my back. I'm gonna take you with me to the quarterback," instead of using his hands to knock him off him. Boogie Basham discards them motherfuckers at the door. He comes unencumbered to the quarterback. Good luck, guards. Good luck, tackles. Because on any given play, you don't know where he's coming from. I mean, he likes to dip inside, so he's going to have to develop just a little bit more outside game just so that they can understand that he will go outside. But when he dips inside, tackles beware, because they ain't going to have the quickness to deal with his inside move. It's deadly.
Right, and that's exactly what they had me on the Boogie Basham train early when I saw him. Because I'm like this. You can go to the combine and have all the numbers out of the world and all that. When I cut on film or cut on the highlights of a certain player, and if they look like they're men amongst boys out there on the field, that's who I pay attention to. That's who I root for. Those are the guys who I want on the team. And when I saw Carlos Basham, I was like, you know what? It looks like it's just unfair for this guy to be playing against certain tackles, because it's like straight off the ball. It's just explosiveness, and then he has a mean streak. And how long have I been saying we need more mean streak guys and less quiet boy? We got a nice little setup of locker room to where if we get a mean streak guy in the locker room, they can keep it corralled in. But we got enough guys that's gonna be able to talk the process. We need somebody that kind of then get up to somebody's face on something.
Oh,
but
so
Mike, you stole my thunder.
Somebody say
took
F the process. I knew you was gonna take them. That's why I stole it.
Never F the process. Yeah. You took my thunder. But let me I say Rashard Wildgoose. Because what I saw him, he's very good at man coverage. Yeah, I think he may be in the mix. He may even jump Dane Jackson over there. That's another player that might need to watch out, because Bean is big on him. He really likes Dane, and Dane played pretty good sparingly when he was put out there on the field. But I think Rashard Wildgoose might actually have a chance to push for that cornerback number 2, even with Levi. Because I like a cornerback that can cover and isn't afraid to come up and bring a load and bring that wood and tackle. That's kind of like my sweet spot. That's like my weakness. If you can cover and come up and hit, I'm with you. I like that. I think Rashard Wildgoose might be that guy. And then especially if, like I said earlier, if he brings any type of special teams capability, you know how they love they players that they're not starters. Okay, we can put you on special team. That means they're always going to have a place on Sunday. You're not going to worry about Rashard Wildgoose being a healthy scratch if he can play special teams as well.
And I'll go as far to say this. If there is no injury and you see Rashard Wildgoose on that field, that means that's a top corner in the league. For real. Because Levi has built up enough.
I want to say that, Mike. I mean, you got.
Hold on.
You think so? No, I'm about to say, with Levi, I might get out there and beat Levi, so he might just get me on 40 times.
No. Well, no, I don't know what you're bringing, so I ain't gonna say no because you was a cornerback in the day. Well, you played all up down the line, corner, or was that Keem who was corner?
Yeah, I mean, I run a yeah. Hey, I run. Levi might run like about 4.5, 4.6. I run a 4 ever in the 40.
My boy said a phone ever. Oh, you seen Vic
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
that 4
I'll
7
get
too?
that whenever. Yeah, man, he still got it. Vic still got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yo, so but
Hey,
the
now
reason
let me
why I
throw this one
said
out here.
okay.
Go ahead, go ahead. Do your thing. Do your thing.
So
I'm ready to hear
you
your
you
rebuttal.
you got to think if Rashad is on that field, it's because he earned it, right? So they have high praise on Dane. They saw some things that they liked in Dane, and that's why they didn't go corner early. Because if Dane wasn't showing, trust me, they were gonna go corner with that pick. But Dane showed him something in practice and stuff like that. Levi is just a gamer. He makes it to the game. He does what he got to do. And in order for a rookie to beat out Levi, that means he had to show something. Because they not just finna sit Levi.
Right.
The person coming behind him has to show that they could do what he can't do. And Levi only have one fault he can't really cover.
I want to say Levi can't cover. Proud on Levi, but he's inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Levi just inconsistent. That's all. And to your point, though, I think if Rashad Wildgoose can come in like right now and play better than Levi, I think the coaching staff will be like, you know what, Levi, we're gonna go ahead and roll with you. But if you're messing up, we got our backup plan. You know what I'm saying? We got somebody behind you that actually can play just as well as you. So if we go out there I mean, I think I think I think Rashad Wildgoose might be that guy. I could be wrong. I'm hoping we get a chance to get a preseason and a true training camp this year.
Yeah.
But this one you get to kind of see who is who. You know what I'm saying? Get a preseason with the training camp. Last year we just went straight to the season, which I ain't gonna lie. For the first time in my life of watching NFL, I love because the preseason is entirely too long. Make at least 2-3 games, whatever process y'all want to do. Then you already have like the joint scrimmages. You have more joint scrimmages. Make more people come together and play each other. Joint scrimmages, probably 2, maybe 3 preseason games.
Remember when I said that this defensive line, the way we have it now, will make 7th round corners look like 2nd round corners. So I believe no matter what corner we put out there, that second corner gonna look good. Because think about it. Before you had enough time to even throw to Tre'Davious' side, right? Tre'Davious got picked on a little bit this year, right? So now you ain't gonna be able to just throw to his side. So you're gonna have to wait for that second read. Is you gonna have time to wait for that second read? Is you gonna have time to throw a clean ball over to that side anymore? Where now you deep on the back end of the zone?
Let's hope not.
Nah, I ain't even hoping. They won't have no time. It ain't gonna happen.
All right. Now, let me jump into this right quick. Do you think we've done enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, I do. I think we did not match them because we could not match them. But we got better in places that we were bad at so that we can play our game better. Our game has to come with a little bit more running. And we got some guys on the line that can take care of that. And we brought back some continuity. So I believe our running game will be a lot better this year, especially with the training camp and stuff like that, right? So that takes the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands naturally. Josh got more weapons, so we'll score more points, right? Josh got Emmanuel Sanders. We didn't have Emmanuel Sanders last year. We didn't have tight end help. And no matter how you look at it, even the Hollister person that we got is an upgrade over Croft.
Jacob Hollis.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders, he runs routes that help the running game. That's what's overlooked. So normally you need tight ends to run those routes that pull those linebackers back. Emmanuel Sanders runs skinnies and stuff to the middle of the field where the linebackers are going to have to help out that corner. And if they come crashing, remember how I said that the linebackers just said, F some spots of the game, we just going to hit the line and come downhill all game? They cannot do that this year. Imagine coming downhill and now you got Emmanuel Sanders and Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley running perfect routes, and you got Marquez Stevenson 50 yards down the field. Oh, but Singletary's about to get the ball. Oh, you can't crash. You don't know what's going to happen.
Now you said Marquez Stevenson, you sure you want Isaiah McKenzie?
See, why you did that? Why you had to do it like that? How you know I wasn't thinking McKenzie was in the backfield?
Hey, look, you know, Isaiah's supposed to be the incumbent in that gadget guy's role now. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got a little competition there. But look, let me go ahead. Let me take it from here though. I think I'm with you on that. I think we've done enough to overcome the Kansas City Chiefs, because even like recent as this week, you had Stephon Diggs come out, said he had the torn oblique. You had Cole Beasley injured where he was. I think, man, had those guys been like injury free, I mean, there's some people out there that say, "Oh, he making excuses." No, I mean, it will come out this late. This is months after the game. If it would be an excuse, it'd be right after the game. And then, you know, I think had those guys been healthy, you got then maybe even a healthy John Brown. I think those DBs probably couldn't have kept up, and we might have got the separation we needed to be able to make those passes that Josh was waiting on, because it just seemed real weird to me. Like, we got to the Chiefs, we was cooking all the way. We hadn't lost a game in 2 months until we got to the Chiefs. So now we get there, and now, you know, I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist. The old Bills fan in me, like, you know, when back in the day when Thurman Thomas fumbled the ball and all that, so I thought he got paid off, man. Somebody need to do some research for me. Somebody do some research for me. But you know what I'm talking about? So I think when he came out to say that, I was like, okay, maybe there might be some truth behind that. So if they would have been healthy, I think that would have helped out a whole lot. Then you come back and Bing re-signs Micah Hyde, re-signs Matt Milano. There was a flex move when he re-signs Monk, Darrell Williams, even Levi Wallace and Isaiah McKenzie, which 3 out of those 6 I'm not a big fan of: Mongo, Levi, and Isaiah. But I understand. No, not going into this offseason, not knowing what the money may be looking like. So you want to be able to keep some continuity on the team. You don't want to bring somebody else brand new in and have to teach them a whole brand new system. You already got them there in place. Then you come back, we signed the FAO Bottom, which I think is going to be rare. I think he's going to make the team. I just say that I think he has a high ceiling because he's still learning the game of football. Then you got Emmanuel Sanders, Jacob Hollister. Like you said, even to what you said, Iron Mike, Jacob Hollister is more or less like an upgrade from Tyler Croft. So you get these guys here, and then let me spread off these names you on the defensive line. When you said that we might be able to get a little get some pressure on the quarterback. Say we got FAO Bada in the mix. Yeah. All right. Ready? Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes, AJ Epinesa, Ed Oliver, Albert Harris, Starr, you got Groot, and you got Book. Out of all those guys, that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 guys. If you out of those 9 guys, which I don't think 8, 9 guys will probably suit up to play defensive line, but I could be wrong. There's a number game with the McDermott and McBean thing. Somebody should be that dog. Now, if we can't get any pressure this year, it's time to go out and pay for a defensive line. So, to what you're saying,
no,
I'm wholeheartedly with you.
If we can't get pressure this year, it's time to hire a different defensive coach, because them guys can play.
You think so? Get
Yeah.
rid of him, go ahead and hire him as coordinator?
What? All see, I hate saying that because I love Leslie Frazier, but it's not just about Leslie. It's about the scheme. That's telling me that the scheme
Right.
has had its time. So now you got to switch up what scheme you run because these guys, man, if those names you called, that's a Ferrari package on third down. That's speed outs to the
Right.
quarterback.
Right.
Like there ain't no reason why those guys are all 5 sack or higher guys. And I'm saying that for Basham right now. He 5 sack or higher. Mario Addison had a down year, 5 sacks. Last year was a down year. That's 5 sacks. Jerry Hughes, 5 sacks.
Right.
F.A. Obata had 5 sacks. These are all 5 sack guys in worse situations. Now they come in a situation where they're Ed Oliver is 5 sacks from the defensive tackle position. So and they said he didn't even play good last year. So because he was in the wrong spot. So he's in the right spot and he ain't gonna get more than 5 or at least 5. Because now all we need them guys to do is get 5 each, and that's 45 sacks.
Right. I like the number. I'm digging the number. Preach.
The cold front had what, 46? They were a 46 to 50 sack a year team, right? When they had that, this ain't a cold front. These motherfuckers can move. This a Ferrari package. This ain't Big Marcel and Kyle. Kyle was the fastest thing we had then.
What's you talking about? Big Mario Williams was slow. I don't know if Big Mario is in there.
He was slow, but he was a powerful man. So he just pushed his guy back into the quarterback all the time.
Yeah, he was just a big dog. He was a big dog. He moved, but he was just quick. He wasn't fast.
Yeah.
I'm jumping this right quick. All right, Pierre Martinez, appreciate you for checking in. You always check in. As well as my guy King Rich, appreciate you checking in also. Improvement should be internal. Knox, Ford, Singletary, Mouse, and even Epinesa. I'm all for that. Like I said earlier in the show, I mean, it's like with beans picks, you got to give them time to grow. And I know we want everything in the microwave. Me myself personally, because when I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I'm on it now. But like I said, we got to make sure these guys, they grow. We grow and grow. All right, now let me move over to this next one. This next deal. Hold on, take it down. All right. So we're gonna get into the Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds extension. What were your first reaction? What were your thoughts as far as like Josh and Tremaine?
I thought it would go that way the whole time. It was right on time for me. Like I didn't expect anything else. I didn't expect them to get any extensions earlier than this. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a down year monetarily. So you gotta take the deals that are there, And I believe they're gonna work on Josh's throughout this year. So maybe they can give him this what did I say, 294, something monstrous. But
yeah, I still got you down there. Hey, I get receipts. I'll see if you really go through.
Yeah, so I believe when he gets his contract, I believe that'll be somewhere around the numbers. But they had to at least give him a pay raise in order to go into this year because you couldn't decline it. You know what I'm saying? Not for Josh and not even for Tremaine. So I haven't been the highest on Tremaine because I believe his tackles come late into the play, too late as running backs are running by him.
Yeah, he does a lot of playing.
A lot of chasing.
Sidestepping. I'm with you.
Yep. So, but I believe from the things he said at the end of last year, I believe he's going to start coming downhill. I believe he's going to start meeting tight ends where they stand. I believe in him. I really do. I think it was Dave from Built in Buffalo. He was talking about, the age of Tremaine Edmonds. He's younger than most of our rookies that we just drafted. Think about
Right,
being
right, right,
that
right,
young,
right.
having to deliver the hits that we're expecting veterans to do. You know what I'm saying? So he had to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, and like I said, as far as like with that, I think with Josh and Tremaine, they bought him time. We'll start with Josh first. With Josh, they bought him time to where that it gives them time to where the salary cap can get back to where it needs to be, right? And then this year he's gonna play on $900,000 deal, $900,000, right? Then it blows up to 23, which he's well worth it, which he's balled out. I think he is on ball out again this year. So we still have him on that rookie contract, paying at a discount. He's not capped too tough. So and it buys a little time to where we don't have to get the deal done today. We got 2 more years left, right? But it's just all on with Bean, how he can figure the salary out. If he can do something now, work his magic, and we might get something done, like you say, during the season. I'm thinking if they can get something done, they might get something done before the season. I agree with Josh. And to me, that would make more sense because if you get something done now, he goes out there and balls out again. It's gonna cost you maybe another 5, 10, maybe 20 million per year. With Tremaine, buys them enough time to see what they really actually have in middle linebacker. Excuse me. So it buys him a little bit more time. So he plays on the contract he plays on now, which is rookie contract. Next year is going to be 12.1 million, if I'm not mistaken. So that 12.1 million, either he goes out there and balls out this year, and that 12.1 million doesn't look so bad, or he just plays kind of how he still is right now. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to change the continuity up. You don't want. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm with you on a lot of the things that he does in as far as his game when he's not on. He's just those side tackles chasing him down, but he's a very athletic freak. You don't want to replace that. You want to see what he can at least turn into that 5th year. Yeah, so you don't want to give up on that just too soon until the contract is just cut all the way
out.
You
could spend 20 years trying to find a middle linebacker.
Yeah, right. You find, and matter of fact, you spend 20 years trying to at least find another Tremaine Edmonds, but you could do worse. Even though I'm old school. I really like to see my middle linebackers come down here hitting hard. But if he goes out there and balls out next year, that 12.1 really isn't that bad. But I think this is just me. I think Bean is probably going to be the guy that's. Let me still look out here and see what's going on out here at inside linebacker, regardless of what Tremaine does this year. And I say that to say this. I think that he'll probably be thinking that, okay, just in case, even though we've seen all these guys come back, take these pay cuts and come back for the process and all that, it always comes down and boils down what that player wants. I've seen guys that been real laid back and reserved and be wanting that bag.
Yeah.
And Gilmore. Be out there. Yeah, real boisterous. Right, exactly. Be real boisterous and loud and come back because the culture's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this kind of sidetrack or sidestep, you got Josh Norman that sees what we had going on. He's a talker. He may even come back just in case we get down to the last hour. We need somebody to count by that, somebody to bring in, help create competition at the quarterback too.
Would you believe me if I told you Josh Norman was one of our better corners last year?
PFF rating? Don't tell me what PFF rating.
No, that and by eye. Only thing he did wrong was get stiff armed by Derek. Man, that shut him down in all our eyes, yo. But what was he gonna do right there? And even after he got flung out the way, he still played hard that game and had a turnover or something in that game.
Yeah, he did. And I think, like you said, that he didn't play terrible for us. I think his whole deal was like being
Injury.
durable, his
Yeah.
availability. Yep, right. Yep. Being an injury concern. But now back to Tremaine. I think we're still gonna search looking for inside linebacker, not because of I believe Tremaine's gonna play like trash next season or he's not gonna be up to ready to play. I think that the fact that Tremaine is gonna be he may either play his way out of Buffalo, he might want that bag, but it's hard to me to believe that he will be like that guy that might want to go grab that money. But like you said, Stephon Gilmore was on that same cut. He want to get out, but we were losing then. That's one thing. Now winning cures all in the NFL, but I think that I think when we brought in Markel Lee, Andre Smith, even though those guys might be like special teams add on, I think that was kind of like a ploy for like Bain and the staff to just see, okay, maybe we might be playing this kid out of position, or maybe if we want to, just move him all over the field, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So if he plays himself out of the way, then it might be like, well, you know what? Let's just look out here.
Well,
Now, if he falls next year,
think think about this. We wanted Joker on this team, right? We have Joker on the team already, but we got him sitting in the middle of the field.
right.
Tremaine in the Joker spot causes havoc. You tell him to go that way or go that way or go to the side, he can do all of that. And he's 6'5". And he's bigger than those guys, than Joker and all of them. So
Amount number 2.
exactly. So when he hits the unsuspecting person who's coming across the middle or whatever, because they wasn't expecting a Joker type guy to be there, they getting rocked, and it's gonna cause turnovers.
Right.
Or that quarterback when they don't know when Basham digs inside, and now Tremaine's coming off the edge at 6'6", the same size as our defensive end that we got. Now they like, yo, what is going on? But we got him in the middle of the field.
Right.
We got him over there thinking, am I doing this? Should I do this? Am I going here? Should I hit this gap a little harder?
Because that middle line that's the quarterback of the defense.
Right. And so you're making him play slow. You know what I'm saying? Do you want him to be that weapon? All I would do is switch him in Milano. Milano's instincts will carry him to the ball as the middle linebacker, regardless.
Right.
If you let Edmonds, who's now had a chance to develop and diagnose plays and lead a defense for the first 3 years, if you let him play a little more free and have that knowledge, what do you think? How many turnovers you think that man gonna cause? Like,
a lot of them.
What did they have to do with AJ Klein last year to make him relevant? They had to throw him down, put him on. Yeah. If you look at where AJ Klein is as a PFF player, he's on the line. He's part of our edge package. That's where he got his grades. Because if they had to grade him as a linebacker, 0, a negative, he might have been the first person with a negative score. But our coaches smartened up and said, hey, well, can you imagine Tremaine in that role? Yo.
Yeah. I think he would have been a beast. I think he would have been a problem. All right. Let me take a pause for the call. You're checking me and my guy Iron Mike over here on All About the Bills Monday Night Mafia over on Facebook. Hit that like, share, and make sure you tell a friend the hashtag AATB is in. If you're checking me and my guy Iron Mike out over on Facebook, I already said Facebook, YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop kick. People's elbow that notification bell to make sure you stay up to date on everything all about the Bills. Now, Mike, let me get over into this right here. We're gonna recap this right quick, and I might go over it just for the podcast listeners for my season schedule prediction. All right, as you see, I got Tampa, week 1. Week 2, you got the New England Patriots. It could be on the road at home, so that's kind of up in there. Week 3, we got the Jets. We got 4, you got the Chiefs. And week 5 is a bye. Week 6, Carolina Panthers. Week 7, the New Orleans Saints. Week 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 9, the Miami Dolphins. Week 10, the Tennessee Titans. Week 11, the Indianapolis Colts. Week 12, you got the Atlanta Falcons. Week 13, you got the Houston Texans. Week 14, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars. 15, got Miami again. 16, got the Jets again. 17, Pats. Week 18. If I'm not mistaken, I thought that 17 game was against that NFC team against that 17 game what they created this year. Now,
Yeah, our last game is definitely against the Redskins.
Yeah. All right, Mike. These are my honorable mention games right here. And I'm gonna walk you through each one of them. You give me your opinion. All right, the first one, start with Jacksonville Jaguars. Reason why I picked this game right here. Before we get out of here, we're gonna run it down. We're gonna keep y'all on. All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars because of the number 1 pick versus Josh Allen. Let's see, does he really have it? Is he really that guy? Is he really whatever? And to me, I don't know if anybody agrees with me or not. I think Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence gameplay is very much simple.
Yep.
Somebody who has a night. Well, his arm might not be as good as Josh's, but he has an arm. He's very mobile. And then once you look at him, you're like, oh, he doesn't look. He's like that kid that's in the between him and Josh. They're like the last 2 kids you'll pick for like a basketball game or pick a basketball game, but they really can hoop. You know what I'm saying?
They come out dunking on you and shit. Like, oh.
Yeah. And very athletic and can play all over everywhere. So I think that would be a good game just because that's the reason why I want to watch that. Like I said, got my honorable mention. The Colts, the Titans, and the Steelers because of those playoff teams last year. And it's always good when we play the Steelers. The Colts got Carson Wentz. And who I say the Titans, yeah, the Titans I was kind of afraid of. Now, what do you think about that Jaguars and Bills matchup this year, no matter where they play?
I believe no matter who Trevor Lawrence plays before us, we are going to be his welcome to the NFL. Because he going to have to think about the back end. He going to have to, he ain't going to have a moment's rest. Not against us.
Right. All right, now the next one is, of course, TB12, Tampa Bay, whatever they want to call it. Us against the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs, but we're going to hold on. I'm jumping the gun. Us against the Bucs. I really would like for us to be the very first Thursday night game. That's what I really want us to be, that very first Thursday night game against the Bucs. Because I want it to be primetime TV. Everybody watching, okay, they getting their little rings over there, you know what I'm saying? The Bills come in town, the team that Tom Brady has tormented his whole career, and we come in and beat them on a ring night amongst the under the bright lights of prime time. I think that would be very fitting for us to come in there and play them. And honestly, I think I'm gonna take off that game. If we get that first game, then I think I'm taking off. What do you think about that matchup right there?
We are built to beat the Bucs, even more so than the Chiefs. That would be an amazing game. This team was built.
I think so.
This team was built to beat Tom Brady. We had no way of knowing Tom was gonna leave. This team was built to get over the hump of the Patriots and Tom Brady. So we gonna beat a Tom Brady team because that's what we was built to do. They didn't have no idea that Mahomes was gonna be controlling the AFC for the next 10, in a whole different way. So
nobody did.
So now we had
to answer. We probably wouldn't have had Trey White.
Right. So now we have add some pieces that help us get over that KC game too. But we're built to beat the Bucks. I would love to see us against the Bucks. That the two problems that they pose for most teams, which would be Devin White and Shaquille Barrett, ain't gonna pose no problem for us. We got the
Right.
tackles. We got the tackles to deal with them. And if our starting tackles can't deal with them, guess what? We got Spencer Brown in the back waiting.
Yeah. If they can't handle it, then we got somebody waiting. And finally, before we get out of here, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna ask you this: do you think that'll be a primetime game?
Oh yeah, the NFL wouldn't miss out on that. The Bills Chiefs
Hmm.
is what made this league. Literally, the first the first two
This
teams from the
is the league,
AFL,
I think.
right, was the Chiefs and the Bills. Like before the Bills came over to the NFL, it was the Chiefs and the Bills battling out for that championship, which the Bills won, and then we came
Yeah,
over
we're
to the
whooping on the
NFL.
Chargers. Whooping on the Chargers back to back.
Yep. So now that's Josh versus Mahomes. That's them beating us twice, but we've built a team where the league would ask the question, did we do enough? And they want the answer on prime time. They don't want that answered on a on where
Right,
nobody is
right,
watching.
right. Yeah. And I'm
And if
wholeheartedly, and I will post my schedule prediction out there on all my social media platforms. I think that is going to be one of our prime time games.
yeah, that one thing that they have figured out over these years is bills equal money. That's why you start seeing these pundits. The only pundit
Right,
that I will give credit for that picked us before they realized bills are money, and that was Michael Robinson. He was the first person. All the other
right,
people jumped on that bandwagon. Schrager, all of them. I don't want to hear. I never care when they be like, "Oh yeah, Bills." Duh, 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 duh. They realize that that brings them rating because Bills Mafia tunes into everything. But Mike Robb said that just off of
right,
reading
right,
our
right.
talent sheet.
Yeah, right. I mean, because Mike Robb did what everybody did in the past: come to our training camp and watch us play. I mean, do our thing. Even like with Chris Sims, I
Yeah.
mean him. Every year he comes here, he always comes to Buffalo to watch our training camp, and he's never been down on our court. Even when we had Fitzpatrick, he always used to say, "Oh, the Bills are this and that. They might actually be that guy. They might actually be that team or whatever." And I just always hear him, and I just listen to it, feed into it, buy it. But now him and Josh Allen have a bromance, I guess. So even then, when Mike Robb came in and did it, I mean, I hear y'all. I done heard that from a lot of guys before. We go out there and stake it up, go 4, 12, 16, 5, and 11. Now, that they, like you said, they were on the bandwagon before anybody else. Yeah. So, all right, Mike, before we get out of here, can you let everybody know where they can find you at?
All right, you're gonna be able to find me, King Me Sports, King Me Sports Network, King Me Sports TikTok, King Me Sports Instagram, and I will also be bringing a new platform to the table called Smashing Tables, a Facebook page and a Facebook group for an ultimate fan experience for Bills fans. So check me out there when it gets up and running around the 13th of May.
All right. Now, if you dig in the content on all about the Bills, Monday Night Mafia, I will be trying to bring more content in the future. As of right now, if you want to check me out, make sure you go to aatb.buzzsprout.com. It has links to all my social media platforms, and you can listen to the podcast straight off that interface. Or if you subscribe to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon Music, I'm on all those platforms. And if you just, if you're on Twitter, Draper Jackson at Draper Jackson 1, Instagram, all about the B _, and just come check out the YouTube channel, all about the Bills. And me and my guy, Iron Mike, we out of here like last year. Peace.
Yeah. Bills Mafia.